BTS shocked fans during a recent live broadcast with a surprising announcement. They will begin touring several countries, and their very first destination is Hindi. The reveal immediately sparked global excitement, speculation, and unstoppable anticipation. No one expected that night to become one of the most defining moments in BTS's recent history of live interactions with their fans. A broadcast that began seemingly ordinary. Relaxed seating, casual outfits, a dimly lit room lacking dramatic flair, but quickly turned into an information bombshell within minutes after one of the members, wearing a subtle smile like a secret signal, mentioned that they can't wait to start this journey again. And from that ambiguous phrase, the entire tone of the live shifted, gradually yet unmistakably, into something far more significant than a simple fan interaction, because not long after came the unmistakable words, "The first country we'll visit is Hindi." And with no background music, no sound effects, just their natural voices that felt unmistakably human. That alone made the moment all the more monumental as fans realized what they were witnessing wasn't a promotional gimmick or a time filler, but rather the beginning of something bigger. And within seconds of that declaration, the comment section exploded not just with emojis or celebratory remarks, but with layered interpretations and questions from fans across continents, ranging from, "Are they really coming to India?" to "Why did they say Hindi, not the country name?" Signaling that even amid euphoria, the public remained alert to detail, and from their collective curiosity sparked, like a small flame in oxygen-rich air, spreading rapidly across social media platforms, expanding discussions far beyond the BTS fandom itself, while the members of BTS kept calm, smiling, offering no further explanations yet doing nothing to dim the overflowing excitement. And in their silence came an unspoken confirmation that yes, they are resuming their world tour, and Hindi will be the starting point. And although no city, date, or format was revealed, the public narrative began to shape itself ahead of any official statement. Because in today's fast-moving world, a 5-second pause without clarification feels like a vast space for speculation to thrive. And on Twitter, fan forums, and international online communities, there emerged a shared consensus that this wasn't just the return of BTS's global tour, but a symbolic moment indicating that the dynamics of Asian music are once again stirring after a period of stillness. All beginning with a single word: Hindi, a word that technically refers to a language rather than a country, which only fueled deeper public intrigue. Would they be performing in New Delhi, Mumbai, or perhaps collaborating with Indian cinema or launching something that tied into the broader South Asian cultural wave? And in the modern entertainment ecosystem, where every move of a major celebrity is dissected and interpreted, even a brief statement like that was enough to reignite the machinery of content, opinion, and global discussion that had slowed during the members' military service. And now, with most of them returning to activity, the decision to begin the tour with Hindi seemed like a symbolic message of a new direction, one perhaps less West-centric than before. And behind it all, some journalists began digging into whether the choice was tied to cultural influence, soft power diplomacy, or simply a brilliant market strategy. Since India hosts one of the largest army fan bases and a rapidly expanding music market, and from an industry standpoint, the move appeared deliberate and well-planned, yet still allowed for artistic and emotional interpretation that BTS has always embraced. And when the live ended without any follow-up announcements, no teaser, no further explanation, the public was left hanging in a way that only heightened the sense of exclusivity and narrative control, because once again BTS proved they don't need a big campaign to move the world. A single live stream with a single phrase was enough to spark global hope, debate, and anticipation. The next morning, the digital world was overflowing with speculation and reactions ranging from ecstatic joy to cautious analysis voiced by industry watchers. But one thing was clear: the momentum was alive and unstoppable. Even mainstream media like Rolling Stone, NME, and several international news outlets picked up on the announcement, referencing the line even without concrete details, proving that BTS's influence remained not just intact but once again central to global pop culture discourse. And in India itself, the response was massive and full of enthusiasm, with thousands of fans creating short videos expressing their happiness, analyzing BTS's body language during the live, and even producing visual interpretations of potential choreography they might bring on stage, while some Indian pop culture commentators noted that the mere hint of BTS's presence despite no city or date being confirmed, already had a psychological impact on the youth, who idolized them not just as musicians but as symbols of self-expression, cross-cultural collaboration, and the courage to defy industry norms. And on the other side, concert promoters were quickly pulled into the narrative, rumors emerging that major stadiums in Mumbai and Delhi had tentatively reserved dates under strict secrecy, further layering the story. And soon after, Bollywood industry figures publicly expressed excitement at the possibility of collaboration, especially given the musical and dance elements that could bridge the two massive Asian entertainment traditions. And amidst all this noise, international fans didn't stay silent, connecting the word Hindi to symbolic clues of possible musical collaborations. Perhaps a multilingual song project or even a global album showcasing South Asian cultural elements more prominently. And even without an official statement from BTS's agency, fans felt confident that this was the start of a new chapter in the group's career, one in which they'd no longer be seen only as Korean icons but also as Pan-Asian cultural representatives in the global sphere. And in every tweet, post, and article that appeared in the following days, the excitement didn't fade but grew in complexity and depth. As the public was no longer simply awaiting a concert, they were anticipating how BTS would respond to this rising wave of expectation and interpretation, whether they would confirm details soon or let the suspense play out to organically build a fan-made narrative. And in a celebrity world where narrative control is one of the most valuable assets, their decision to let the public piece the puzzle together reflected not only strategic intelligence but also deep trust in the community that stood with them for over a decade. And so when local Indian media began speculating that an official announcement could come within the next 2 weeks, the atmosphere had already shifted from mere anticipation to a kind of collective euphoria, where music, culture, and identity collided in the same emotional space, turning BTS into more than just a music group. They were now a cross-border phenomenon, and if the tour truly begins with Hindi as they said that night, then one simple word during that live broadcast will have marked the opening of a powerful new era in global music history, one born out of a quiet moment packed with significance. And while official confirmations were still pending, the ripple effects of that single word continued to unfold, not only in fan circles or entertainment journalism but also in cultural institutions and international media think tanks beginning to reframe their approach to how Asian acts, particularly those like BTS, shape global dialogue through the sheer precision and intentional ambiguity of their public communications. And in Hindi-speaking regions, especially across India's urban youth hubs, the surge in BTS-related searches, merchandise activity, and streaming statistics began reflecting a phenomenon more kinetic than any scheduled rollout could have achieved, essentially demonstrating that a non-traditional, decentralized mode of engagement, through live streams and spontaneous moments, might just be the most effective strategy in the post-pandemic entertainment era. And the timing of the announcement was perceived by many observers as deeply tactical, coinciding with the seasonal reopening of major music venues, relaxed travel restrictions, and renewed appetite for large-scale international concerts. And while the fandom pored over every syllable of the live for possible hidden messages, branding analysts were quick to point out the implications of such a tour launch location, especially considering that BTS's previous international tour cycles often began in North America or East Asia, making Hindi an unprecedented pivot both geographically and symbolically, suggesting a bolder orientation toward territories with emerging cultural sway. And even within South Korea's media ecosystem, there was a noticeable shift in tone, with top publications balancing national pride with cautious optimism, raising questions like whether this new phase would realign the group's global representation model and how such a move could potentially influence the next generation of Korean pop acts, who increasingly look to BTS as a blueprint not only for success but also for cultural diplomacy. And as conversations expanded, educational institutions and media literacy programs even began citing the announcement in case studies around fandom economics and digital virality, emphasizing how an unstructured, emotionally authentic disclosure outperformed traditional press releases by every metric, from user engagement to media pickup velocity. And yet amid all these analytics and strategic breakdowns,